What? Hi. Hello. How are you guys? Can you hear me? Hello?
Are we supposed
Can
to?
you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can hear
we
you,
can
but
hear you.
our test is failing.
Oh, I am a failure.
But it hasn't even switched over yet.
Testing.
It's fine.
Testing 1, 2.
That's a long delay.
Yes,
Testing.
because I've got it on the higher
Okay, we're good, Mike. Thank you.
coding.
Testing.
So we can end live feed in case something questionable gets said.
No, we're live. We're starting. Meeting's ready to start.
Yeah, I was gonna stream it, but I'm having trouble getting up there.
Are you guys using something like what's called OBS? Yes. Yeah, so that's OBS. And we stream to YouTube so that anyone can watch it later if they don't show up. Very
Yeah, for those of you who haven't done it, Ismail, he's from MakerFX, right? You're part of MakerFX? Are you like on the board or anything, or you're just
No, I joined a little over 2 years ago. Then I lost my job, but I was going to be out of state in Georgia. I left for a while. Joined again back in March, and the most active thing I've been doing is I've been backfilling for Gio, the guy that used to coordinate the tours, guest tour requests. So that's like the main thing I'm doing because I work in Tiger Hill and I live south of UCF, so I'm not that close to them either. I'm about the same distance from you guys, roughly I think as I'm from them. But coordinating like tours, it's easy to do. Just sending SMS messages and emails, and then I don't know if you know their tours. They sort of keyed in on Friday evenings at 6 p.m. So, when they try to get most of the guests in, and then when those tour guides can't, or I mean when those guests can't make that date, I'll try to go on the weekend and give those tours. So I gave I don't know if he chatted with you guys about it, but Brian Z, I gave him a tour a few months ago. He was curious.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I forget his last name. Zolman, I think.
Oh, I've never.
Zolman or something like that. Yeah.
Yes. He's still with you guys, yeah?
No, he left.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably. Well, he said a few months ago.
Yes.
He left like last month or so. So I was wondering if he was probably going over there to switch.
No. Yeah, that was like maybe I gave him a maybe like 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh, okay. All right, give me a second here to pull up the agenda, and then we'll get started. In the meantime, if you guys can go to l.familab.org/sign-in on the agenda, just to
Any throw an error, just
basically check it. Oh yeah, that's still happening, huh?
I gotta find my key to get into the system. So I think it's on my desktop. Pieces.
Okay. Yeah, if it gives you guys an error, don't worry about it.
Okay. And we have to proceed.
Yeah, it's a
Advanced, yeah,
certificate error, so
certificate,
you have to proceed. We just had an issue pop up yesterday after it started. Can't leave on that.
Yeah, it just kept going.
It did. All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is February 18th, 2025, 8 p.m., a little bit after. What we got online? Justin said he was going to join. He might jump on the same. So all attendees online, please mute your mics to avoid crosstalk. Anybody in here, when you talk, they can only hear like one thing at a time on that speaker. So rather than interrupting, just kind of raise your hand. I'll get to you guys if you have any questions. But feel free to ask any questions at all. But yeah, and then l.familab.org/sign-in, and then just accept the certificate error. That's just the sign-in so that we get a head count for today. So as for the financial update, we're actually in the green. I guess I should have put it up there, but we're actually in the green for once by $2.66. But we did have some significant donations of a little over $1,000. So one of them, there was actually a $1,000 donation from one of our members, and then there was an $86 that was just a collection of all the donations that are here. So thank you to everybody who's dropped money in some of the donation boxes that we have. And same with the sodas. People are dropping money for the sodas still. That's awesome. That just helps keep us funded. So general updates, and the biggest thing we want to talk about today, it's probably going to be a really short meeting, by the way. The house or the annual membership meeting, we're making that in March. Well, it's normally March. What we're doing is we're taking the membership meeting and actually putting it onto a Saturday at 1 p.m. So Saturday the 22nd of March at 1 p.m. And we're making it the whole, not just the membership meeting, but the annual party. So we'll have the regular meeting like we have today, but then afterwards there's going to be drinks and food and whatnot. We're doing a potluck style. So if anybody wants to bring anything, feel free to bring it. We'll have the table set it there. We will have a sign-up sheet, so keep an eye on Slack. That just kind of helps us track who's bringing what, so we don't get like 18 people showing up with sodas and that's all we have. Speaking of the lab will buy the sodas again. Just let us know if you have any special requests. Normally we just get like maybe some Coke Zero, Diet Coke, and Coke, maybe some Dr. Pepper. Maybe Sprite, I don't know, whatever you guys want. But yeah, the rest, all the food is all potluck style. So turned out the last party we had was really good. We had a lot of people bring in some really good food, and everybody hung out and had fun. So we'll be going over, during that meeting, we'll be going over all the previous year, all the things we've been through, things people have made, hoping to get a slideshow put together. I'm extremely busy this month, so I'm not really sure if we can get that done. But if anybody wants to, let me know. I can get you all the information. But yeah, so we'll have a slideshow, just a big party, really, just hang out, have fun. The lab will not be purchasing any adult beverages, but they're not banned either, as long as people control themselves. So we are 18 and up facility pretty much, so be responsible.
Rule on that? The historical rule on that was if you bring it, you have to take it?
Yes, that's it. Yes, yeah. So what, I don't know if you guys all heard that. If you bring it, you take it, and you have to keep control of it. So just keep that in mind if you bring anything. We don't want to have any kind of issues come up because of it. Let's see. So workshops and open houses. Any ideas for more classes? Justin put this together. Is he here? I'm not sure where we're going with this unless anybody has any ideas. Hand raised. Mike, what you got?
Is mine on the schedule?
Did you fill out the form?
Justin did.
Then it should be. What day is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him talking.
The Fusion 360 class, not class, hangout. I think we start Sunday in March. That might be later on the schedule.
Get a second to check that first.
I don't see anything on Sunday in March, anything on Sundays.
Okay. Justin said he was going to do it.
Okay.
But yeah, so what he and I have talked about it a couple times. I know I've talked about it with you, Adam, but just to catch everyone else up, I and a few others are quite advanced with Fusion 360, which is a 3D modeling software. I use it very frequently for work, and I know that a couple of you guys have taken some training classes recently, and what this will be is a hybrid, kind of like a hybrid class. The class, the wrong word, hangout. So if you're at the lab, you can join in at the lab. If you're just online, you join in online. And I believe we were going to do it starting every 2 weeks, starting the first Sunday in March at 8 p.m. And it's just going to be a hangout and fusion with me, very casual. We're not going to have any specific agendas or anything like that. It's just going to be a hangout and let's do some cool stuff in Fusion together. We're going to try it with the hybrid model. Some people wanted to do it in person at the lab. I won't be there at the lab, but I'll be online, and we're all going to be sharing our screens anyway. So that's part of the reason to do it, more virtually than anything else. But yeah, we're going to start that soon. So that's another idea that we came up with that we're going to be doing again starting first Sunday in March.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it because I was one of the ones with Justin that did the Fusion class that he bought, and it was pretty awesome. So I think he's going to be doing that too. If anybody's interested in getting started in Fusion, this would be a good start. But Justin also has this class that he paid for that kind of goes through. You basically build a bookcase, but you learn a lot about Fusion and how to make things parametric, so you can adjust them later. So very great information. All right, cool. Thank you, Mike. Anybody else have any ideas for classes or workshops or anything you would like to talk about or see questions about? There's always Slack. So if you have any suggestions or whatnot, reach out to Slack or want to learn something.
Adam, were you saying something on Slack about doing a CNC type thing?
Yes, thank you for the reminder. I was actually.
I'm looking forward to joining that.
That's hilarious. That I couldn't even remember my own thing. So yeah, I want to do a class on the wood CNC. I learned a lot about it. Probably not as much as most people when they are professional teaching, but I can at least show people how to start cutting things. I don't think we'll go into 3D reliefs just yet on that, but possibly something like cutting out a box with a lid or something like that might be kind of neat.
Did you cut out all of the pieces to a bookshelf that you designed in Fusion 360 on there?
That would be a perfect use of it, but not doing that. But yeah, I mean it'll, and you'll get access to, like, we have VCarve Pro for our software, which I can help you guys get access to, and it'll help. That's more for the 3D relief stuff, but it will still help you with toolpaths and makes the toolpaths a lot faster. Anyway, not to get all into it. Yeah, so I'm thinking about doing the wood CNC one. So if you guys have any ideas of what we should do in that, let me know. It'll be a little bit before I do it because, like I said, this month I'm pretty busy. I want to do it maybe mid next month, but I want to also have a lot of good information ready for the people that are going to attend, so that it's good information as opposed to just winging it when everybody gets here. So yeah, keep an eye out for those as well. We also do have our normal events that we'll talk about down further down. But yeah, anything else, you just mention it in Slack. If you want to ever do anything, there's actually a form to fill out on the website. I say just fill it out. It'll go on the calendar. We'll get a notification if we don't think it's something that the lab should do, or there's any kind of weird conflicts or anything. We'll just reach out to you and let you know. But it's kind of automated at this point. Just fill it out on the calendar, or fill it out on the form. Go straight on the calendar.
Do you guys have like enough coverage of skills from members to teach everything that you'd like to teach?
No, that's what we're trying.
Sometimes you have to bring. We're in that same situation. Like you might have to bring a guest instructor from outside.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to you about that. See if you guys, if you know where you get your guest instructors from, or not, because that'd be nice. It used to be a lot more interaction where you'd ask. Right now, it's more of like the knowledge is usually there, but it's through Slack.
Yes.
It's not like hands-on knowledge where they can always come in. Like Nick's an excellent resource for anything when you're doing CAD and metal stuff, but he doesn't have time. He runs a full-time business at this point. So, yeah. So, but yeah, there's a ton of resources on there. But if you want something more hands-on, you have to really reach out and ask. Possibly get somebody from outside. All right, so moving on, we do still have the Amazon wish list. I updated a little bit. I got to go back over it. But if you want to donate in some way, you'd rather just buy something for the lab, the Amazon wish list is there. The link is in the agenda. and if you want anything added to it, let me know and we'll add it to it. We try not to. It's kind of like consumables that I don't know. Say you want to donate some consumables, but say for instance the vinyl cutter. The vinyl cutter needed new blades. I bought a whole pack of blades for fairly cheap on Amazon, and I only needed one, but there's a bunch there now. Things like that can be on the Amazon wish list, but it's also things that we need in terms of like setting up the exhaust, or not the exhaust, the dust extraction and the air that we still need to set all that stuff up, and then just general use stuff. Recurring things like the filters for the AC stuff, that's not on there. So that's where part of where your donations go. So Maker Faire, it's less than 365 days away. We don't know the exact date, but it's in November. It's always in November. Usually the first weekend, second weekend of November, something like that. I say start planning now, because in the past we've started reaching out to people about 3 months in, and people have great ideas and they want to build these things, and then I feel bad because they just don't have the time to do it. Start at the beginning of the year. Hopefully by the end of the year it'll be done. Worst case, you build something like what I did last year. It was done a month before, so I put it in a box. I put it under my desk at my house. I was like, I'm not going to touch it because I don't want it to break before it gets there. And it turned out to be one of the most viewed items on our table. So, I mean, that's definitely something to do. I have a bunch of ideas if you just want to make something, and just tell me what kind of skill set you have, and I can kind of help you through finding something, or help you through getting to the point of finding something.
Does everybody know what Maker Faire is, by the way? Does anybody not know what Maker Faire is? Okay, just checking.
Okay. It's a good point, because we've had a lot of that lately. People have reading that. So outreach, any ideas are welcome. We just fairly recently did a flyer thing where people met up and slept in, and they got a bunch of our flyers and took them to apartment complexes around, and gave them, because some apartment complexes will give them out in their new membership packet, things like that, because apartment complexes are perfect for who wants to join the lab. Go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
With the brand new apartment complex that's being built, like right in front of the lab, as once they get established, we may go in there and talk to the management and ask them if they'd like to offer, if they'd like to buy a block of memberships that their tenants could use, and obviously they do the same membership process and thing. They wouldn't just come and go, but they could offer it as a bonus to their members or to their tenants. Maybe I don't know. It just came to me, so I don't have the idea fleshed out.
That's a good idea, though. That's a good start, and yeah, that's something I could talk to the board with on what kind of deal we can offer. And if anybody else wants to take part in that, I will. If that comes to fruition, I'll probably be involved in going over there, but anybody else can go with me. But yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you, Mike.
I was thinking about maybe, as George told us, about there's the Post Time restaurant down here, down the street away, and it's got car shows maybe every month or two. Might be nice to have a little station that does car shows. People like that might be interested in these kind of facilities.
Okay, it's not a bad idea.
Developing relationships like that, if we can do it routinely, would be great. I know we do have a relationship with Rockler Woodshop. They were thrilled to get our flyers when I went there for Founders Day event a couple weekends ago. So yeah, developing partnerships. If you have an in with somebody there, or at any other type of event, if somebody regularly attends and might know somebody to even talk to, that'd be great.
And if you're not comfortable talking about the lab and the organization, or just need more information, feel free to reach out to any of the board members, especially myself. I will give you all the information you need. I'll even go with you. I mean, if that's going to help us improve the lab. So it's a great idea. Because one of the guys that bought when we moved out, we had to sell one of the mills. One of the guys that bought the other mill was building custom car parts. So that's not a bad idea there.
Do we have additional flyers left over?
Yeah, there's a box of them right now.
Right. Maybe like also like a local college or something like that, if they had like a sort of event or a bulletin board like that, we could put it up.
Yeah.
There is an outreach channel in Slack too, if you want to join that. If you want to join that we put some information at. There's not a ton of people in there, so we try and get it out to everybody when we do these things. But that's a good place to post those ideas, and then they're kind of tracked easier. Anything else anybody else on the outreach? So social media, post and descriptions. So post things that you make, and a lot of people have been doing it. It's been great. Been seeing a lot of stuff. There's a channel called I Made This. So when you make something, just post it and post a little bit about it in there. The theory is that it will get to Facebook, but we've had so many people that have access to Facebook being incredibly busy lately that we haven't been able to do it. But I promise you, if you continue to post, they will eventually get up there. And also that helps us collect images for the yearly party. So when I look for images for that slideshow, that's most likely where it's going to come from, is that. But make sure you post a description, because when we post it on Facebook and it's just the picture, and people ask a bunch of questions and we can't answer them, it doesn't help us all that much. I mean, it does help, but it kind of makes us look like we're just posting and ignoring. We're not really ignoring, we just don't know how to answer that. A lot of times I have to say, I don't know, I'll ask the artist or whatever. Never end up getting back to them. So yeah, just post at least a little thing about it so that we can post that up there too. So most of the questions are at least answered right off the bat, and if they ask additional questions, we can follow up. But,
And just to be clear, we don't have to tag you or even mention your name. We can just say one of our members did XYZ. So if you don't like Facebook or aren't on it, it's still not a problem.
yeah, correct. And with that said, if you do want to get tagged, if you're an artist that's trying to get your art around and want to be tagged on that, that's fine. We'll be more than happy to do that, especially when we can get you to answer the questions. So yeah, that's a good point though. We don't, by default, we're not going to say who made it. So whether you post something up there and say, I don't want my name on it, or you just post something up there and we're not going to put your name on it. You have to specifically say, hey, can you tag me on this? Otherwise, it's just a member. We're all anonymous. So.
Well, I guess if you guys had a chance before, but Orlando Science Center, they're kind of centrally located. I guess they might even be closer to you guys than they are to us. You know, because
I think we used to at some point.
Yeah.
Mike might be able to speak to that. I think we used to do some stuff.
in all honesty, like the couple of times that I've helped, like with other more senior members that had done before, you know, organize it and go out there, I don't know that it translated into that many like new memberships, you know, but just the activity, you know, like if some folks might be willing to do outreach and they just need to go through the exercise of doing it because they're a nonprofit. I think, you know, they always have things available. I'll forward you the message that I got from them.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, with different events.
That kind of goes to what Carson was talking about. Is it's marketing is really networking and building relationships. A lot of times when you market, you're actually not even selling, especially terms like what we're doing. We're not selling to the people we market to all the time. We're giving the idea to other facilities, and then they're doing the marketing for you. So it's kind of one way of doing it anyway. But that's where those relationships come in, when you build good relationships. Because word of mouth is the best form of business. So that's the best way to get your business. All right. So moving on, board members. I spoke to the other board members, and right now I know we were talking about I may be leaving. And I think maybe Justin was thinking he had to, I don't remember. But it doesn't really look like I'm going to be leaving anymore. I can stick it out for a while longer. It's not like a complete promise till the end of the year, and do whatever I can to stick around. And honestly, we have people doing more things lately that we're not running the board ragged anymore. So I'm not here 24/7. When I am, I'm actually able to work on my stuff. So with that said, the board's responsibilities have gone down enough to where you could have just remote board members. So Right now, we're good. Even if my workload for my jobs pick up, it's not that big of a deal. I could still be part of the membership or part of the board and do meetings and things like that. So, but if you are interested in joining, we could still use more people on there. Technically, we should have 7. Right now, we have 4, and one of them is now living in Chicago, so he's only remote. But that kind of tells you that there's always things you can do to help the board, regardless of if you can be here or not. You can still do things remotely, even if it's something like making the agenda every week. That kind of thing helps. But yeah, and if you have any questions about board responsibilities and whatnot, just feel free to reach out to anybody in the board team. You can tag board in Slack, or you can DM any one of them personally, and they'll answer you. But all right, so membership dues. So they increased in February. This month, right? Yeah, February. They were supposed to increase in January, but through technical issues, we basically set everybody's February dues to increase that need to increase. So new people, you're still at your 75. People that were on the 50 have moved up to 75, unless they're on any kind of special case. We have a lot of members that are like legacy members that still believe in FamiLAB but don't come here. I think there's even a few that are out of state and they still just donate. So those ones we're not going to say, hey, now you owe us 75 even though you don't even come by. That's just their donation to us. That's not.
And just to be clear for everyone who's either in the room or on the call, this is the first time ever that we've raised rates since like 2009.
Right. Yeah, I guess I haven't really expressed that since the beginning of this. We kind of voiced that around before. There are other maker spaces that can still stay below that mark. We're having trouble doing that, which means that it doesn't mean that 75 is always going to be our membership dues. If we start getting more membership and or support from county or whatever from doing outreach or whatever, where members don't have to pay 75, we can bump that back down to 50. The 75 is just because, as you can see, January we did not everybody's not on 75 in January. We had $1,088 in donations, and we're only positive $2. So we obviously need the increase right now in order to kind of get in that green. Once we get bigger, more members, that can easily come down. So just keep that in mind. And again, as I've said countless times throughout this entire thing, if for any reason you cannot pay it, if you're on a set income, you're on, you don't have enough money, you're just broke. FamiLAB is community first, so we can at least honor the 50, or we can make you an agreement on things. So just feel free to reach out, and anything you tell us to, I don't know if we were clear on this before, but anything you tell us about that kind of stuff is private. And we take that seriously. So the only people that are going to know about your situation are either the person you talk to, if you tell them you don't want all the board to know, or the entire board is going to know. That's it. Anybody else is not going to know, and that's only because they need to know to make the decision. So just so it's clear. But yeah, if you just, I mean, I know we have a lot of people on set incomes. Some of those have already reached out and said, hey, can't really do this, but I want to continue to be a member. That's fine. We also have things like teaching agreements. We have the ongoing teaching agreement where, like, if you host an event or class, we call it a teaching agreement, but you can host an event. You do it so many times a month. We can comp you a membership for that, or give you a discount membership depending on what it is. If it's something that's going on our calendar and bringing in people and showing the outside that we're active, that helps us more than your $50 usually. So, or your $75. Certainly helps us more than $25. So if it's like you'll do a class and pay $50, you got it. You're good. So anyway, moving on. Just want to be clear on that. Let us know if there's any issues. That's all. We don't want to lose any members over it, basically. So before we get to open discussion, I'll just go over upcoming and new events. Woodworking is going to be on the 26th at 7 p.m. Justin said what he's going to do.
I believe we are going to be working on building the AC filters. What is that thing? It's a big box with a filter to help collect dust out of the wood shop.
I forget what they're called. You're looking over here like you know what they're called. They're basically
It's a fine particulate filter for the wood shop. I don't know I'm sure there's a name for it.
Yeah.
Basically, we're going to try to build one of those so that everybody can breathe more safely in the wood shop. So it'll be beneficial for everybody back there, and it's going to be our project we're working on together.
Awesome. Mike, I'm sorry, you had your hand up still. Did you need anything else?
Nope, I forgot to put it down.
No worries. All right. And then the Fusion 3D 360 virtual hangout. It looks like it starts on March 2nd, Mike. That's what
Okay. Isn't that the first Sunday in March?
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Not on the calendar.
It's on the agenda, but not on the calendar. Okay.
Okay.
On the calendar, but yeah, March 2nd, 8 p.m. Fusion 360. Yeah, I remember him asking you, and you said yeah, that's good. So maybe you just forgot to fill it out. Art Hangout is on March 7th at 7 p.m. And then all of our normal stuff, the Stitch In every Wednesday at 1:30, which is the fiber arts people. And then outreach meeting first Thursday at 7 p.m. Social night every Tuesday at 7:30, which has been a lot of. It seems like there's a lot of good turnout. Sorry, words are evading me today. There's been a lot of good turnout for a social night, so especially new members show up. The social night's probably the best night to meet new people and do things, learn things. So that's one of the best ones.
Yeah, part of that social night thing recently, at least, bring a project that you've been trying to work on, and because people are here, you could probably get help on a project.
Yeah.
I know the last couple times Adam's been helpful with like helping me on the wood lathe, and somebody else was helping me with a laser project I had going on. So it's a really great opportunity for collaboration because there's more people here.
Yeah, social night for me lately has been just to be actual social. Used to come and do projects and whatnot, just kind of do my own thing. But lately I've been coaching more and showing people things and whatnot. So yeah, just feel free to come by during social night if you want something.
Yeah. There was a recent event added to the calendar, I think by John. This Friday is a movie night.
Forget about that.
I don't know how to pronounce this, so forgive me. Join us for a viewing from the genius animator
Hayao Miyazaki.
Yep. So this Friday, 7 to 9:30, if anybody's interested in that.
Yeah, John wants to. He basically just wants to have a Miyazaki fest and just do a bunch of films. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his stuff, like My Neighbor Totoro, Castle in the Sky. He does specific type of animation, and it's one of my favorites. So I'm probably with him. What day is it?
This Friday.
That's
Yeah,
Studio Ghibli guy.
Yeah, Studio Ghibli. Correct.
I wouldn't know, but I just heard an NPR piece about like the first animation studio in Pakistan.
Oh yeah.
And there's a young man who was inspired by Studio Ghibli.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah, the type of animation I like the best when it comes to anime. I'm not a huge anime fan, but that stuff I really like. So open house. Board meetings are on the second Monday at 8 p.m. Keep in mind, board meetings are open to everybody. It's not something that you have to be on the board to do. So that's a good way to see what the board does and what the board talks about. Feel free to come along to our board meeting. What's up?
Just looking at the calendar, there's another event on Saturday. So this Saturday at 11, there's a Learn With Me wood whittling, which I'm assuming is going to be with.
That's this one?
That's what's on the calendar, the 22nd.
I didn't know she had it. Oh yeah, she did. Yeah, that's Rhea. Rhea's she had she did it once and it turned out pretty good. So
Yeah, it was really fun. Everything's supplied, no experience necessary. Well, we got first aid here, so.
Yeah, we got quite a few first aid kits, honestly.
They've come in
kind of
handy.
surprised by that.
Had to use a few Band-Aids.
Open house, second Tuesday at 8 p.m. and fourth Saturday, we added this Saturday to it, just to kind of help. So actually, I believe this Saturday is also the open house. I unfortunately will not be here, but I think Matthew will be leading that one. But you know, open all members and outside people. We really want to make sure we get some members. We don't want to leave it up to one person to do tours. So please, if you got some time on Saturday, come by, work on something, and then help give tours if you need to. If you need help giving a tour, we'll show you through it. It's fairly simple. Just point things and say those things and point those things. So, and then just talk about how much you love the lab. Sidetracked myself. That's amazing. So yeah, one of the other things I wanted to say about that though is, even if you're just here working on something, that really helps the people that are giving tours. Because I can tell you right now, when we tour it with people and we show them all the cool tools, and they say this is neat, but they're not being used, it's less of a surprise and of a intrigue when they come back there and somebody's doing some woodworking or somebody's working on a metal blade or something like that. So if you got a project to work on, that's another one of the good days.
I have the same issue, like maker effects. In other words, it feels like we're nowhere ever near utilization. And
Yeah.
There's times on a weekend, you would think, the place would be packed, even there's hardly anybody. And then we have this, I guess, apparently this first robotics team that we sponsor. So now they're through I think March or April is their competition. They're using the classroom area.
Nice.
And then one of the shops on Saturdays. So
that's the lady that we had talked to also.
So I told them, I said, I'm so glad you guys are here, because it's a different thing, when you're walking people through here and say there's all this exciting stuff and nothing's happening, versus there's a bunch of kids doing robots and stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. Awesome. And then monthly membership meetings, there's Tuesday of every month at 8 p.m. So from here, does anybody have any open discussion, things they want to talk about? Show and tell. My stuff's still on there, and I forgot to bring it for that last meeting. I 3D printed some rugged boxes that were really cool looking. And I even took silicone to make the
Seal.
to make the seal. Yeah, so I haven't tested it yet. So I do need to dunk it in water and see how well it does. But yeah, I wanted to show that off, and then I was learning how to use the metal lathe, and I did a to make a end stop for the wood lathe. That's what I bring on, and I keep thinking about it. So anybody else have anything they show off or talk about? Or?
It's a dumb question. With the 3D printers, how do we handle the filament? Is it generally available to the members, or do you bring your own? Or
So just like with anything here, it's best to bring your own stuff. But the 3D printers is something that there's always extra filament there. Feel free to use it. If it's got a name on it, that's somebody's filament. Ask before you use it, or don't use it. But if it doesn't have a name on it, you're free to use it. The only problem with the 3D print ones is you probably have to dry it out before you use it, because most likely it's been sitting there a while. We do have a bin that I made with a little humidity. Yeah, it's got a humidity display on it, and it seals shut, and it's got the silica thing on the inside, so it kind of helps keep that moisture out. But they don't always make it there. So what I try and do is, while I'm here, which you can do as well, is just we have a dehumidifier or a dehydrator in there. Every once in a while, I'll just pop some rolls in there and turn it on for 5-10 hours, and then come back the next day and cycle them out. So if you're bored when you're here in 3D printing, that's not running, maybe pop it in there and see how loud the next person. It's also really good for drying your own filament, because I'm terrible at storing filament at my house. I can't believe I don't have more moisture issues than I do. But yeah, I don't store it anywhere good, and my house is crazy humid, so.
Very good.
But yeah, so I use that a lot when I come.
All right, thanks.
Do you have anything? You just. Okay. All right, new members to introduce. We don't necessarily have some. You guys were talking about you wanting to do it, right? Yeah. So do you guys want to introduce yourself? Take your time, introduce yourself, or just something about you, why you're interested in the lab, things like that.
Okay. Yeah. My name's Greg. I'm into computers and electronics and that kind of stuff. I work for Intel right now. Previously worked for other big chip tech companies and stuff. And I take my work home with me and then do other things with it. I didn't. I'll just have to show and tell, bring up my last project. If anybody wants to take a look at it.
What is it?
It's a micro-channel IDE interface for old IBM PCs.
Wow.
Very niche, but yeah, I mean, there's the thing, and it's do the old design on a computer, get it made in China and sent back to you.
Oh, nice. So you even design all.
Yeah, so these are
Design
for
all
sale
the-
on the internet, and a friend of mine does the manual and disc and everything, and then we sell them off to the nerds, the nerd community, of which we are proud members. Yeah, that's one example.
Cool.
So I have a little kit to do that sort of stuff at home, but what I don't have is woodworking and blades and all the things. So I kind of want to expand my skill set a little beyond these things, and so maybe I'll come and share what I know about that, and then learn the stuff I don't know from other people here. That kind of the motivation for joining the space, I guess.
That was going to be my next question: is what brings you to this space? What kind of stuff do you think you want to
Learning, sharing knowledge, and social interaction with like-minded people.
Cool.
Nerds.
Yeah, fellow nerds. Find nerds. Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
So that's me.
Cool.
Hi, my name is Lana. I do all sorts of art. I like to weld, like watercolors, fiber arts. I really like fire. I also really like water. Let's see. I was at Creole Day for a few classes, and that really piqued my interest.
Did you do like the bronze casting over there? Or what
Yeah, I
you do?
did bronze casting and sculpture and welding.
Cool.
Yeah. What I'm most interested in next, I think, is making jewelry. So, yeah, excited to be here. Excited to learn some knowledge, share what I do have, and
Cool.
hang out.
What kind of jewelry? Are you like talking beading, or are you talking more like?
No.
Like the welding and stuff. You
Yeah, more. Yeah, like
That's cool.
yeah, silversmith, things like that. Yeah.
Cool.
That's
All
really
right,
cool.
thank
I
you,
was
guys.
just experimenting with using the laser to cut out shapes for earrings,
Oh, cool.
but then wanting to do more intricate stuff with adding metals. I don't know how to work with yet, but
Yeah.
that would be really cool to talk about later.
Yeah, for
Learn
sure.
together.
Yeah, for sure. Would love that.
All right. Anybody else? Before we wrap it up.
We have a kiln or a metal melting system here today.
We have a forge that you could possibly use to melt it because it's more of like a knife forge though. So it would be your what's it called?
Do we still have the electric kiln that was set up for that? We don't have a special oven for it. Like we don't have a specific, metal melting oven, but we had a kiln that we had set up
We have the small
and
kiln.
rigged to meld.
Does it? So it was set up and good to go, or
It had.
When people were doing aluminum in it, I don't know. I think aluminum and lead they were doing, but I don't know what else. And I
Okay.
don't know if it's still here after the move. Like I know we had one at one point.
Yeah, it is. It's up at Top Stock. We had two. We had one really big one, but that was Dan's, and he took that back.
Yeah.
But yeah, the smaller one, yeah, it was here, or it's still here. That's one of the things that doesn't get used very much, so we kind of put it up in a way. But if you plan on doing a project with it, somebody can help you get it down. Especially if you reach out the board, they'll try and find somebody to help you get it down. The biggest thing with that stuff is it's hard to hard to say nicely, but basically, if you're not working on it, it's got to get put away, right? So, for instance, we had somebody that wanted to get the CNC, metal CNC, what's it called? The plasma CNC. They wanted to get that going. And it's still down and sitting over there, and they worked on it one day and then didn't have time to work on it anymore. So now it's like we got to put it back up in the stock to get it out of the way because it's in the way. Unfortunately, the smaller space, that's kind of what happens. So just keep that in mind when you're working on something. If it's a one-off thing, just make sure you tell whoever's helping you get it down that you're probably going to need help putting it back up or something like that.
We have screen printing equipment?
No, no,
Got rid of that.
no, that didn't make it here. That went back to the owner, I believe.
Okay. Many years ago, I worked on the wiki of various things. Is that still active, or I didn't check out?
No, what happened was the website was so far behind in updates when I finally took it over. It was breaking, and it was so far behind updates that it was easier for me to rebuild it and then rebuild it in WordPress. And then I did link the wiki back to it, but the wiki had a lot of old information on it. And we kept it up for a while, but the wiki problem was the same thing, except even worse. It was so far behind, I couldn't even upgrade. I would have had to upgrade, I think I counted 5 times consecutively until I can do the jump to the newest one. By then, all the markup would be different, and it would look like crap. And all the data was old. Nobody seemed to really want it, so I took it down. We do have the data that's on it, so if there's something on it you need access to, let me know. I can find it. But yeah, I mean, the wiki is good in theory. It's just a wiki is something that needs to be constantly updated. And unless we have, people that want to do that or that can do that, have time to do that, it's probably better not to have. Because like I said, on there, I think it had, on one page it still had Mike as the president. On another page it had somebody else as the president, and I think that person was before Mike. So, yeah, it's just takes a lot of effort though, Pete, but it was great. I was part of the, when they started doing the Wine and Wiki Wednesdays or something like that. We did that a couple times, where people were bringing in wine and then and drinking wine and doing stuff on the wiki. It turned into more wine drinking, but it was still fun. And some of the wiki stuff got done, but yeah, it takes a lot of effort. So.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else? Alrighty, I think we'll go ahead and close it out then. It's 8:54 anyway, so thank you for everybody that came. Thank you for everybody that joined, which was Mike. And thank you to anybody who's watching.
Hi.
Hey, thank you for everybody
Bye.
afterwards too. I know there's a lot of people that will watch it later, so that's awesome. But yeah. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Thank
You guys, I'll get you guys done.
Bye.
Bye, Mike. Thank you.